Boy pretended to tie biker's shoe, what he found in his boot mobilized 110 Hell's Angels. Evan Parker only bent down to tie a biker's loose bootlace. That's all anyone saw. What his fingers touched inside that leather boot would wake an entire brotherhood, shut down 3 highways, and prove that sometimes the scariest men on the road carry the biggest hearts. This is where his story begins. Evan Parker learned early how to stay quiet, not because he wanted to, because loud boys get noticed, and noticed boys get sent back to houses that smelled like beer and broken promises, back to couches that weren't really beds, back to people who said *temporary, but meant *forever uncomfortable. He was 11 years old and already tired in a way most adults never understand. Friday afternoons were the worst. That's when social workers stopped answering phones. That's when weekend plans belonged to other kids. Evan sat on the concrete bench outside the Quickway gas off Route 19, backpack between his feet, watching families fuel up and drive away together. Moms buying snacks, dads washing windshields, kids laughing too loud. He counted tires instead. 1, 2, 3, 18 on a semi. His Foster pickup was late again. The sun leaned low, painting the pavement orange. Wind pushed wrappers across the lot. Evan hugged his hoodie tighter, even though it wasn't cold. It just felt safer to hold himself. That's when the noise arrived. Not car noise, thunder. 3 Harleys rolled in like distant storms finally breaking. Engines growled, chrome flashed. Leather vests carried patches big enough to scare parents and excite trouble. People looked. Some stepped away. Some pulled kids closer. Evan didn't move. He just watched. The lead biker was huge, over 6 feet. Gray braided beard, arms like tree trunks. His vest read *HELLS Angels North Coast. He cut the engine and silence followed, heavy, respectful silence. The biker swung off, boots hitting concrete. One lace dragged loose, slapping the ground with each step. Evan noticed that. He always noticed small things, because small things are usually where danger hides, or hope. The bikers laughed near the pumps, stretching sore backs, sharing road dust stories. One bought a soda. Another checked his phone. The big one leaned against his bike, eyes scanning the lot without trying to. That's when Evan's phone vibrated. A text from his caseworker. Running late. Sit tight. Evan swallowed. Sit tight meant alone. Again, he stared at the bikers dragging lace. Then at his own sneakers, frayed, hand-me-downs, barely holding. Something inside him whispered, do something normal, just once. So Evan stood up and walked toward the thunder. The biker didn't see Evan at first. Most adults didn't. Evan walked slow, not like a scared kid, not like a brave one either, just steady. Like he belonged in the space between engines and strangers. The smell hit him first. Gas, leather, hot metal, road dust baked into fabric. The biker shifted his weight, boots scraping pavement, loose lace still dragging behind him like a tail. Evan cleared his throat. Sir. The biker looked down. Big face, hard lines, soft eyes hiding behind them. Yeah, his voice sounded like gravel rolled in honey. Evan pointed. Your shoes untied. The biker blinked, then followed Evan's finger. He chuckled. Well, I'll be damned. He lifted the heavy boot, awkward, like the ground didn't want to let go of him. Good catch, kid. Evan knelt. Before the biker could stop him, Evan reached for the lace. I can tie it. The biker hesitated. People always did. A kid touching their stuff. A foster kid touching a biker's boot. But something in Evan's face wasn't asking. It was pretending everything was normal. The biker shrugged. All right, but don't get road dirt on your hands. Evan smiled small. As his fingers worked the thick lace, he felt the weight of the boot, heavy, worn, alive with miles. The leather was cracked but clean, smelled like rain and smoke and time. That's when he felt it. Not leather, not sock, paper. His knuckle brushed something tucked deep inside the boot wall. Evan froze. The biker kept talking to his friends behind him. It told him Arizona ain't flat, it's angry. Laughter, but Evan's heart started beating wrong. Slow, then fast. He pretended to adjust the knot, but his fingers slipped just enough to touch it again. Folded, thin, hidden, Evan's breath caught. People don't hide things in boots unless they're scared to lose them, or scared someone will find them. Evan glanced up. The biker's eyes were on the horizon, not on him. Evan slid 2 fingers deeper. Careful, quiet. The paper shifted, and one corner came free, just enough to see. just enough to read. 3 words written shaky in red ink. Asterisk help. He hurts me. Evan's throat closed. His hands stopped working. The biker looked down. You all right, kid? Evan forced air into his lungs. Yeah, lace is thick. The biker smiled. Yeah, like me. Evan swallowed, because now he wasn't tying a shoe anymore. He was holding someone's scream. Evan finished the knot slower now. Too slow, the biker noticed. You sure you don't need a mechanic license for that thing? Light joke! But Evan didn't laugh. His fingers slid once more, barely, against the hidden paper, enough to pull more into view. 6 more words appeared. My name is Lily Grant. Evan's stomach twisted. He felt something shift in the air, like the moment before a storm breaks. The biker's friends were still joking near the pumps. One clinked bottles. Another stretched his shoulders. Normal road life. But Evan was suddenly somewhere else. He remembered his own first night in foster care. How he'd written his name on his shoe with marker, scared he'd forget who he was. Names matter when you're disappearing. Evan tightened the knot. But he didn't stand yet. He leaned closer, pretending to fix the lace. Stealing another second, the paper slid further out. More red ink. Man in blue van, not my dad. Evan's fingers trembled. The biker noticed that too. Cold hands. Evan shook his head. No, sir. The biker crouched a little, trying to see Evan's face. That's when Evan did something he'd never done before. He looked an adult in the eye, not scared, not polite, honest. Sir, are you safe people? The biker blinked. The words surprised him. Safe. Evan nodded slightly. Like people who don't ignore stuff. The biker studied him. Wind pushed his beard. His vest shifted. Under all that leather was a man who'd seen roads burn and heal. Kid, he said softly. Depends what you mean. Evan took a breath, and in one smooth motion, pretending to brush dirt from the boot, he slid the folded paper free and pressed it into his palm. The biker felt the touch, felt the hesitation, felt the weight change. He looked down. Evan whispered almost nothing. Someone put this in your shoe. Then Evan stood, fast, too fast for a normal shoelace job. Thanks, he said, and walked backward. The biker stayed frozen, paper warm in his huge hand. His laughter faded. His friends' voices blurred. He unfolded it. The full message stared back at him in crooked red letters. Help! He hurts me. My name is Lily Grant. Man in blue van, not my dad. Going north at sunset. Please don't tell him. Please. The biker's jaw tightened. His road smile disappeared. The storm had found its target. The biker didn't move right away. That's the thing about real danger. It doesn't come with music. It comes with silence. He read the note again, then again. Each line heavier than the last. He looked up. Evan was already halfway back to his bench, small shoulders, fast walk pretending nothing happened. The biker straightened slowly. His friends noticed, not because he shouted, because he didn't laugh anymore. One of them, Cole, squinted. Silas, you look like someone stole your bike. Silas folded the note into his palm. Worse, another biker, Mark, stepped closer. What happened? Silas didn't answer. He walked, long boots, slow pace, controlled. He stopped in front of Evan. Evan froze. He thought maybe he'd done something wrong. Maybe adults weren't safe after all. Silas crouched until his eyes were level with Evan S. Big man, quiet voice. Kid, what did you feel in my boot? Evan's chest fluttered. A paper. Silas nodded. You read it. Evan hesitated, then nodded once. Only part. Silas studied him, then did something unexpected. He handed the note to Evan. Read it all. Evan unfolded it again. His eyes moved fast. When he finished, his face looked older than 11. Silas spoke softly. You know what this means. Evan swallowed. Someone's in trouble. Silas nodded. Big trouble. Wind pushed dust across the lot. Cars came and went. Life kept pretending nothing was wrong. Silas stood and turned toward his brothers. His voice changed, not loud. Serious? Mount up. Cole frowned. We just got here. Silas held up the paper. A ripple moved through the group. What's that? Mark asked. Silas looked back at Evan once more, then at the road. It's a reason. He pulled out his phone. One tap, then another. Then he said the words that make bikers move like soldiers. Patch call. The engines around the lot suddenly felt awake. Across 3 counties, across 2 states. Phones began to vibrate. 110 Hell's Angels were about to learn that a little girl's scream had been hidden inside a boot, and a quiet foster kid had found it. Silas turned back to Evan. You did good, son. Evan whispered, scared and proud at the same time. Is she gonna be okay? Silas looked at the highway, sun bleeding into asphalt. We're gonna make sure she is. Thunder rolled again, but this time it was aimed. 200 miles away, Lily Grant pressed her forehead against cold glass. The van smelled like old coffee and metal. The seats were torn. The floor rattled every time the tires hit a crack in the highway. A blue sky passed above her through the dirty windshield, but inside everything felt gray. She was 9, too old to cry loud, too young to stop being scared. The man driving whistled sometimes. Bad songs, off-key. He called himself Ray. Said he was a friend of her mom. Said her mom told him to take Lily somewhere safe. But Lily's mom had disappeared 3 weeks ago. People don't just disappear from breakfast tables. Ray never looked at her when he talked, only at the road. His hands stayed tight on the wheel like the van might run away if he let go. Lily kept her knees to her chest. Her backpack was gone. Her phone was gone. Her name was all she still had. She remembered the biker station from yesterday. How she'd begged Ray to stop because she had to use the bathroom. How he'd waited outside. How she'd seen the big motorcycles near the pump. That's when she noticed the boot. Black leather, heavy, untied lace. And she remembered something her teacher once said after a safety video. If you're scared, leave a story behind. So Lily tore a page from her math notebook, borrowed a red marker from the bathroom trash, and wrote with shaking hands. Help, he hurts me. She folded it tiny, tiny enough to disappear. When she came out, she tripped. On purpose! Her hands brushed the biker's boot, and the paper slid in. Hope is a strange thing. It doesn't feel big. It feels like whispering into the dark and praying something whispers back. Now, hours later, Lily didn't know if it worked. Ray glanced at her. Stop squirming, kid. I'm just cold, she lied. He turned the radio louder. Sunset began to stretch orange across the road. Northbound, just like her note said, and somewhere behind her, engines were starting to chase the truth. Sheila's iron cage stood in the center of the quickway lot like a statue. Wind pushed his vest. Phones vibrated in pockets across 3 states. One by one, buzz, buzz, buzz. The patch call had gone out, and Hell's Angels don't ignore patch calls. Cole checked his phone first, then Mark, then another. Faces changed, jokes stopped. What's the play? Cole asked. Sealers handed the note around. Each man read it in silence. Hard men, soft hearts hidden under steel. Mark exhaled slow. A kid. Sealers nodded. Girl, 9-ish. Cole's jaw tightened. Blue van, northbound, sunset. Sealers pointed at the highway. We split. North ramps, county roads, toll cameras. Anyone with a scanner lighted up. Mark pulled out his radio. North Coast chapter, this is Ironcade. We're hunting a blue van, possible child abduction. Patch priority. Static. Then voices. Copy. On it. Rolling. Engine started again. Not loud yet. Focused. Controlled thunder. Evan watched it all from the bench. His heart beat like it wanted to join the bikes. Sealers walked back to him. You got a ride coming. Evan nodded. Maybe. Sealers reached into his saddlebag and pulled out a small patch sticker. Not official, just wings. Bravery looks quiet sometimes, Sealers said, placing it in Evan's palm. Evan's fingers closed around it. Are you gonna find her? Sealers crouched. We don't quit roads halfway. And he stood, and the lot came alive. 1 bike, then 3, then 10. Chrome catching sunset. People stared, but Evan saw something else. Not bikers, guardians. As Sealers mounted, he looked once more at the highway and whispered under his helmet, "Let's go bring a kid home." The engines answered, and the chase began. Ray didn't notice the first bike. He was too busy yelling at the radio. Static annoyed him. Traffic slowed near the county bridge. Cars stacked like tired animals waiting their turn. Lily noticed the sound first. Low, different, not cars, thunder breathing. She peeked through the back window. Far behind, tiny dots. Growing motorcycles. 1, then 3, then more. Her heart jumped into her throat. Hope is dangerous, because if it's wrong, it hurts worse. Ray muttered, "Idiots ride like winter don't exist." He switched lanes. The bikes did too. Lily's hands trembled. She whispered inside her head, "Please, please, please." Sealers rode at the front of the line, eyes locked on the van's faded blue paint. Plate numbers blurred in dust. Mark spoke into comms. Confirmed visual. Blue van, northbound, lane 2. Cole replied, "County sheriff notified. We stay shadow." Sealers shook his head. Not too close, not too late. The sun dipped lower. Shadows stretched long. Ray felt it then, that feeling, when you're not alone anymore. He checked his mirror. Motorcycles, too many, too steady, not weekend joyrides. His jaw clenched. He sped up. The bikes matched. Lily's breath came shallow. Ray swerved. Sealers leaned. They danced with traffic. No sirens, no panic, just pressure. Mark radioed, "Bridge ahead, bottleneck." Sealers replied, calm. "That's where stories end." The van hit brakes. Cars slowed. Space disappeared, and thunder closed in. Lily gripped the seat. Tears filled her eyes, not fear, recognition. Someone had heard her whisper. The bridge narrowed everything. Concrete walls rose, cars packed tight. Ray cursed. No, no, no. He tried to change lanes. A bike slid beside him, another behind, another ahead, not blocking, guiding. Sealers pulled level with the driver's window. Ray glanced and saw the skullwing patch. His face drained. Sealers tapped the glass. Once, calm, not threatening. Ray shook his head, pressed the gas. Sealers leaned in and spoke through the crack in the window, voice like steel wrapped in mercy. "Pull over." Ray laughed, nervous. "You ain't cops." Sealers met his eyes. "No." Then 3 more bikes boxed the van gently, like hands on a runaway thought. Traffic slowed, no escape lane. Ray's hands trembled. Lily whispered, barely audible, "Please." Sealers saw her through the window, small face, big fear. That changed everything. His voice hardened. "Now." Ray slammed brakes. The van lurched. Cars honked. Engines idled. Sealers dismounted before the wheels stopped spinning. Mark and Cole flanked. No yelling, no fists yet. Sealers opened the passenger door. Lily didn't wait. She jumped. Straight into leather and arms. She sobbed into Sealers' vest like she'd been holding her breath for days. Sealers held her, big arms shaking. Cole pulled Ray out. Cuffs clicked from a sheriff cruiser arriving late but thankful. The road went quiet. Wind passed. Sealers knelt in front of Lily. "You hid a story in my boot." She nodded through tears. "You listen." Sealers smiled, eyes wet. "Always do." Somewhere far away, a quiet foster boy was still holding a sticker, and a girl learned that scary-looking men. After the bridge, everything slowed. Sirens faded into distance. Traffic moved again like nothing extraordinary had happened. The sun finished sinking, leaving purple streaks in the sky. But for Lily Grant, the world had changed direction. She sat on the curb wrapped in Sealers' leather jacket. It smelled like wind and road and safety. A paramedic knelt in front of her, checking her arms gently. No rush, no cold hands, just calm voices asking simple questions. "What's your name, sweetheart?" "Lily." "How old are you?" "9." Sealers stayed close, one massive hand resting near her shoulder but never heavy, like a wall instead of a cage. Police talked with Ray near the squad car. His confidence had evaporated. The blue van looked smaller now, like a bad idea caught in daylight. Lily watched Sealers quietly. He noticed. "You okay?" She nodded, then shook her head, then whispered, "I didn't think anyone would read it." Sealers sat beside her on the curb. "I almost missed it." She frowned, "But the boy didn't." Sealers smiled. "Yeah, he didn't." Lily stared at the road. "Is he real?" Sealers chuckled softly. "Braver than most adults I know." Wind passed. Sirens became echoes. The sheriff walked over. "Child Services is on the way. We've contacted family." Lily's fingers clenched Sealers' jacket. "Don't leave." Sealers hesitated, then nodded. "I'm not going anywhere yet." She leaned into him, and for the first time in days, Lily let herself be small again. Not hunted, not hidden, just held by the moment. Back at the Quickway, the lot felt empty without thunder. Evan still sat on the same bench. Sun gone, streetlights humming. His phone buzzed again. Another text, still delayed. "Sorry, kiddo." Evan stared at the screen. He should have been mad, but something else lived in his chest now. Pride, fear, connection. He rubbed the small wing sticker Sealers had given him. What if he hadn't stood up? What if he'd stayed invisible? A pickup truck pulled in slowly, headlights soft. His foster caseworker, Mrs. Hale, stepped out, tired smile ready. "There you are, Evan." He stood. She noticed his eyes. "You okay?" Evan nodded, then paused, then didn't lie. "I helped someone today." Mrs. Hale blinked. "Helped how?" Evan looked at the road. "A girl. She was scared." Mrs. Hale softened. "That's good." But Evan's voice dropped. "I think grown-ups forget to look." Mrs. Hale didn't answer right away. She knelt, met his eyes. "You're right." She held out her hand. Evan took it, but he glanced back once more at the highway, wondering, hoping that somewhere the thunder remembered him too. 2 days later, Sealers rode back alone, not with noise, not with formation, just one bike cutting morning air. He parked in front of a small community center near Route 19. Kids played basketball outside. Laughter bounced off brick walls. Silas removed his helmet, searched. Then he saw him. Same bench, same hoodie, same quiet posture. Evan looked up and froze. Silas smiled. "Well, if it isn't the hero mechanic." Evan stood fast. "You found her." Silas nodded. "She found us first." He reached into his vest, pulled out a folded picture. It showed Lily in a hospital waiting room, smiling, holding a paper with big letters. "Thank you, boot man." Evan laughed for the first time in weeks. "She's okay." Silas knelt beside him. "She's with her aunt now. Safe bed, real breakfast." Evan's chest felt warm, like something broken had learned to breathe. Silas studied him. "Why'd you do it, kid?" Evan shrugged. "Because her paper felt lonely." Silas's eyes watered. He cleared his throat. "You got a name." "Evan." Silas extended a big hand. Silas. They shook. Leather and childhood. Road and sidewalk. Two worlds touching for one good reason. Silas stood. "You ever need thunder?" He pointed at Evan's chest. "You already got some." Lily learned to sleep again. Not with lights on, not with shoes ready, but with dreams. Sometimes she dreamed of boots, not scary ones, safe ones. She kept the original note framed on her wall, crooked red letters, tiny paper, huge meaning. Evan went back to school the next Monday. Same halls, same noise, different shoulders, straighter. He noticed other kids now, quiet ones, lost ones. He learned bravery isn't loud, it kneels, it listens, it ties shoes. Silas and his chapter still rode highways, still looked scary, still made parents nervous at gas stations. But every patch carried something extra now. A story. A whisper hidden in leather. And sometimes, when wind passed just right, it sounded like a child's voice saying, "Please," and thunder answering, "We hear you." Some heroes don't wear capes. Some wear backpacks. Some wear boots. And sometimes the smallest hands start the biggest storms. 3 weeks after the bridge, autumn arrived quietly, not with storm, with cooler air and softer light. Evan was sitting outside the same community center, sketching little motorcycles in the corner of his notebook, when a white sedan rolled into the parking lot. He didn't look up at first. Then he heard laughter, not loud, not careful, free. He lifted his head. A girl stepped out of the car holding a woman's hand, brown jacket, pink sneakers. Hair pulled into a messy ponytail that kept escaping. Lily. Evan's heart skipped like it forgot its job for a second. She saw him, stopped, stared, then smiled in a way that wasn't shy at all. She ran, not fast because she was scared, fast because she was sure. "You're the boot boy." People turned. Evan stood just in time for Lily to hug him like they'd known each other forever. Not polite, not careful, real. Her aunt walked over, smiling through quiet tears. "This is Evan, right?" Evan nodded. "I'm her Aunt Claire. I just wanted to meet the kid who helped save my niece." Evan didn't know what to say, so Lily did. He listened when nobody else did. They sat on the bench together. Lily told him about her new room, the blue curtains, the cat named Jasper, the cereal that didn't come from a gas station. Evan listened, because now he understood something important. Being brave doesn't mean doing something huge. It means being the first one to care. Before they left, Lily pulled something from her pocket, a small, folded piece of paper. She handed it to Evan. Inside were 3 shaky words, "Thank you, friend." Evan smiled, and the world felt lighter than it had in years. That Saturday, the community center hosted a fundraiser. Kids, parents, folding chairs, cheap speakers, and thunder. People heard it before they saw it. Harleys rolled in slow, not aggressive, respectful 10 bikes, then 20, then more. Silas rode at the front. Kids froze. Parents whispered. Then Lily ran forward. "Boot man." Silas laughed and parked, pulling off his helmet. "There's my favorite author." She hugged him. Leather creaked. Behind him, the rest of the chapter dismounted. Big men, soft movements, careful hands. Evan stood nearby, unsure. Silas spotted him. "Hey, hero." He walked over and pulled something from his vest. Not a patch, not leather. A small silver chain. On it hung a tiny wing. "For courage," Silas said. Evan hesitated. Silas leaned closer. "Not biker courage, human courage." Evan took it. People watched differently now. Not scared, curious. Kids asked about the bikes, the road, the patches. Silas knelt and answered like a teacher, not a threat. Thunder, it turned out, could be gentle. Lily stood beside Evan. "Scary people aren't scary," she whispered. "Quiet ones are." Evan nodded. Wind moved across the lot. Engines cooled, stories warmed, and something invisible stitched new trust between worlds that never used to touch. Years passed the same way highways do, slow at first, then suddenly far behind you. Evan grew taller. His hoodie became a jacket. His fear became curiosity. He still noticed small things, loose laces, quiet kids, hidden stories. Sometimes he rode with sealers, not fast, not loud, just enough to feel the wind answer back. Lily grew too. She kept writing, little stories at first, then bigger ones. She wrote about boots, about roads, about a boy who pretended to tie a shoe and found a life inside it. One day, Evan asked Silas something while they sat on a roadside lookout. "Why'd you stop for me?" Silas looked at the horizon. "Because someone once stopped for me when I didn't deserve it." Wind passed. Silas continued. "The road doesn't care who you are, but people can." Evan thought about the paper.